if you're thinking of moving to Nashville, Tennessee, you need to know about some of the prices that have changed pretty dramatically in some areas since the last time I did this video. So moving to Nashville, thinking about Nashville, or thinking about relocating, or even investing in Nashville, then this is the video for you. We're talking about the cost of living in Nashville type of video. So I thought it's time to do an update for 2024. You don't want to miss out. I am Susan Thetford, a native Nashvilleian and realtor, lifelong realtor, general contractor. And this show is all about you, all about the things you want to know about moving to Nashville. So if I have a question I can answer for you, then you need to reach out to me. Let me know some questions so I can help answer yours. But today I want to do an update on a video that I've done quite a while ago about cost of living here in Nashville. Let's do that quick update so you know what it's like to live here and how expensive it is. See if it's worth it for you to make the move. I'm not going to make you wait. I know the first thing you want to know about is housing. Everybody does. So here we go. If you're looking at renting in Nashville, then I'm not your go-to girl, but hold on. I'm going to tell you who is. But let me give you an idea. The housing is often the largest expense, of course, when you're moving to an area. As of 2024, if you're looking to rent, you can expect to pay $1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment in the city center, like East Nashville or the Gulch, and around $1,400 per month in the suburbs, say Bellevue, not quite Green Hills, but Bellevue, Sylvan Park, some of that area. Prices vary significantly depending on the neighborhood. Popular areas, higher prices, newer construction, more amenities, high-rise swimming pools on the patio, dog parks. You're gonna pay much more money, more like $2,000 to $2,500 for a two-bedroom apartment. Now, as I said, I'm not your go-to girl on apartment rentals. I want to connect you with Rachel Aturian with Nashville Apartment Locators. They can help you. They work for all the apartments to find you the best deal of what's right for you, your lifestyle. And they also happen to know when a development might be pretty vacant, offering deals, the type of things that you're not going to know walking in off the street and just talking to the management. So you need to check out Rachel Aturian at Nashville Apartment Locators. I will have her information in the description below. Now, if you're looking to purchase a home, then I am your go-to person. My team and myself can help you in all areas of Middle Tennessee. Let's take a look at over the past few years, Nashville's housing market has seen consistent growth. I don't care what you're hearing on some of the mainstream media that prices are dropping all over the country. In the 5 counties I'm going to share with you that are contiguous to Davidson County, where Nashville is, we're not seeing that. I'm going to give you hard numbers, not just anecdotal numbers. As you know, Nashville is in Davidson County, and as of June 2024, the median price of homes in Davidson County is $520,000, which is up 7% over last year, 2023. The amount of inventory on the market, homes available for you to buy, has dropped 15% from year to year. So, as you know, when there's very little to choose from, prices do increase, and that's what's happening here. In Williamson County, which is where Franklin, Brentwood, Nolensville, several cities that you'll find. I have a whole set of videos for you about Williamson County in each one of these areas, actually. Williamson County, the median price point is $969,000. That is up 5% year over year over 2023. The amount of inventory available is down 21%. When you look into Wilson County, that's Mount Juliet, Lebanon, county east of Nashville, Davidson County, the median price of homes is $501,000. That is up 6% year over year, and the inventory is down 14% over the year before. Scarcity pushes up prices, even though we are at a higher interest rate. Go figure. Now, the only county where we see a price reduction of the contiguous counties to Nashville-Davidson County is Sumner County. Sumner County is where Hendersonville is. The median price of homes in Sumner County is $456,000, which is 1% decrease in price over 2023. The inventory is up 6%. That's the only one where we see an inverse kind of set of numbers. Inventory is up, prices softened and down a smidge. When you get into Rutherford County, which is where Murfreesboro is, the median price of homes is $442,000. That's up 5% year over year, and there is a 16% drop of inventory of homes available to see. So as you can see, the closer you get to Nashville, the better the school systems, just so many different reasons. Look, the person who loves Williamson County may not like Murfreesboro and vice versa. It's not to say it's not a good, better, best, but it is to say each area does have its details. It has the great finer points for it. Pricing of homes is just one of the many things you need to take a look at. If you want more information, a deeper dive into some of these areas, then you need to reach out to me. Check out this link, get a time where we can talk, and I can give you a finer point information about specific areas that you might like, or questions you have about moving to Tennessee. Let's have that specific conversation about you and your needs. So thankfully, we haven't seen a lot of change in the pricing of utilities over the last couple years. So just to rehash what we talked about before, utility costs are remaining fairly steady, except for electricity. Electricity has gone up somewhat over the last 2 years, but because we're still in TVA, I think inflation is hit, but not as hard hit as in some other areas of the country. You're going to find the water bill runs about $60 for a family of 4. Now that depends in the summer months if you happen to irrigate your home or take a lot more showers because you're needing them, then it's going to fluctuate. When we have a water sewer bill, they're separated. So even though I might use a lot more water when I'm irrigating my property and that water is not going down the sewer, I'm still charged essentially double. So in the summer months, I do a lot of irrigation. That irrigation is going to increase my pricing. But we don't have moratoriums on that, which I know you do have in other areas. The electricity runs about 12 cents per kilowatt. My personal home at 2,500 square feet runs about $175 a month on average. Internet service will add another $60 to $80 per month, depending on your internet speed. And some of the rural areas have very good internet access with the broadband, and then the fiber networks are more in town. But I have a friend who lives between Cookville and Crossville, which is east of Nashville on its way toward Knoxville area in East Tennessee, and they have faster internet than I do, and it's a very rural cattle farm. So go figure. You can check out any home that you may considering purchasing by going to the FCC broadband map and put in the specific address of a home that you're looking at. It can tell you the internet access speed and also tells you who the providers are of each area. So that specific address tells you specific providers that you may contact to then check with them about what their internet speed is. Or, one better, put down an app into your phone which will tell you that download and upload speeds. It's called, imagine this, Speed App. Download that app to your phone, and any home we walk into, when I'm out touring with you, we can check out that internet speed. Something that comes up quite often when I'm showing people homes for different areas of the country, natural gas is something that people want, especially if you live in a very, very urban area. Well, we typically don't have as much natural gas. People are surprised that we often don't have natural gas stoves. We may have natural gas heat, but that's because it was probably an older home. Gas lines went through the neighborhood, that people changed out and put gas stoves in their home, but they didn't change out the whole heating system. Typically, you're going to find if a home is built 2000 or later, it's going to be in an HOA, which a lot of people don't want, but that's the way it is. And when it had an HOA and you had that kind of density, the gas lines were brought in, so we may well find gas heat, gas stoves, gas fireplace. But in many cases with the older homes, larger lots, we're finding maybe only a gas fireplace starter, but electric heat in the home. All things to think about and detail what's the most important to you in looking for a home. But that's what you're going to find here in the Nashville area. Now, typical 2,400 square foot home, the average cost, if you have gas heat, is running about $160 average year round. Of course, summer months, you're not going to have the heat on from probably mid-March through late October. But if you have a gas water heater and your fireplace, but that gas bill would be quite a bit lower in at least 7 months of the year. You can also do some budget billing with the electric and gas services if you want to even out your bills throughout the year and just use an average and pay that monthly, or do what I do, just pay what it is when it is. So transportation is going to be a significant expense for you, just like across the country. However, I am finding it quite a bit lower here than in many, many, many very competitive urban areas. Gasoline prices average about $3.50 per gallon inside of Nashville, inside of Green Hills, Forest Hills, Brentwood, Franklin. But I found the other day when I was going from one area to another, I went to Gallatin, and the price was $2.99 for regular unleaded, whereas here in Franklin it was $3.59. So you see a wide variety of pricing of that gas. Diesel tends to run about $1 difference between the unleaded and the diesel premium, somewhere in the middle of that. But you are going to find quite a bit of variety as you travel throughout the entire area. Is it worth traveling to Gallatin from Franklin to get 50 cents less for gas? I don't know, but if you're a realtor like me, you're driving everywhere, I grab gas wherever I can and top it off when I find it really inexpensive. But if you drive a car, you're going to need to factor in the expenses of insurance and maintenance and parking. Car insurance can range anywhere from $1,200 to $2,400 per year, depending on your driving record and the coverage that you're asking for. Bear in mind, you always want to get uninsured motorist insurance because we have a very large number of uninsured motorists here, something like 23%. I have no idea why. Know, if you don't have insurance, that if you get caught, you're going to have a $300 ticket from the police, and you possibly run the risk of having your car towed in. So please get that insurance, but it's because of that our insurance rates run a little bit high. If you need a good insurer, I happen to know him very, very well. Pure nepotism here. He's my son, but he has a large company, independent, so he can run all your insurance numbers and help make you the best deal possible, at least. One thing I'm finding really helpful to people is the cost of our tags and registration is much less expensive here in Nashville and Tennessee in general than I'm finding in a lot of places. The cost for you to drive your car tagged is nothing to do with the value of the car as it is in many areas. You're going to spend less than $100 to annually get tags and registration set up. Now, one thing I have found though is interesting. We now have a charge of $100 for a hybrid vehicle because the state's not getting much money from you on gas taxes. And if you have a fully EV, a fully electric vehicle, then the charge is $200 per year for your tags registration. Additional. I've said this many times, you will probably need a car here, and that's one of the bigger expenses, especially for those who don't have a car. We do have a bus system. It's called the WeGo system. It is public transportation. A monthly pass is about $65. Unless you can and want to live in a walking community, which is more expensive because it's very, very urban, like the Gulch, maybe downtown, parts of Sylvan Park. You know, there are areas that are pockets over by the Vanderbilt area. You can get by without having one. You're going to spend a lot of money on Uber, probably, because our bus line doesn't take you all areas of town. So just know that is going to be an expense. If you don't have a car, that's going to be an expense you need to factor in. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about grocery. We all want to eat. And here in Tennessee, we eat. Between the great mom and pop, just very local meat and threes, some old staples that have been around for 50, 60 years that are fan favorites and off the beaten path, and you're going to need to know somebody to probably know about them. But we eat here and we eat well, unfortunately. Too bad we don't walk more often. What you're going to find here is still we are below the national average on the cost of groceries. You're going to find in a regular grocery store, a gallon of milk runs about $3.29, a dozen eggs, $2.30, store brand bread, about $2 a loaf. That's not talking organics. Organics are going to be more expensive. What we do find is that during the summer months especially, get your fresh fruits, get your fresh vegetables, get cheeses, go to the farmers markets. There are farmers markets all over the city in every single area. No matter where you live, you can find a farmers market. They often move around. Well, maybe Tuesday they're in one parking lot and on Thursday they're in another. Or you can go to the centralized farmers markets that are also in each county. But we have lots of local farmers, lots of local produce, very good grain-fed meats that you can actually buy yourself a cow or a half a cow with families or some of your neighbors. Buy a half of the cow, then it's butchered on site or at a processing plant close by. You can see the cleanliness. Great beef, cattle, pork, all that type of thing. Go ahead and take advantage of that. Healthier food, still not from the grocery. It's going to be less expensive and safer for you. However, there's one bad thing I need to tell you about it. We don't have the state income tax. I know you know that, so I don't need to review it. We don't have tax on investments, but we do have a sales tax on food, and that is different than many states. Sales tax on food is 9.25. And there actually was a bill this year in the legislature to remove that tax, to remove the sales tax on the groceries, but didn't quite have enough votes to pass this time. We need to make our voices heard. Maybe we can get that reduced next year. But we have had several weeks actually, of no sales tax on food. So be watching for that until we get the whole thing eliminated. Eating out varies so widely. I mean, we have every kind of conceivable place of eating out, and every conceivable price for this. It's really hard to tell you what you're going to pay for eating out. I think it's in general in line with most areas of the country, in top cities of the country. But, that's such a preference, I can't tell you. You've got 5-star restaurants, you've got catboard seat, you've got some phenomenal places that will take you months to even get reservations. So you're going to expect it to be a pretty penny. You can check out many of the restaurants, but I think in general we line up with the national average on expense for food going outside of your home. Healthcare is another one of those things. It's really a little hard to talk about because everybody has specific needs. I am probably going to be a whole lot more to insure than any other woman my age because there's just some funky things about me. So it's really hard to talk about that. But in general, Tennessee is below the national average on expense for health insurance, going to the doctor's visits, generalized health needs. And of course, that is because we are the center of an awful lot of hospitals between HCA and the TriStar centers. We have so many businesses that are healthcare related, healthcare focused. It's one of the top 3 industries for employment that we are very on par nationally with national costs. Right there with it, even a little bit lower in some instances, I'm told, especially for dental and vision. Now, if you are moving from another state, it's a very good idea to check now to see how your current insurance plan will be affected, what options you might have locally, and start doing that research before you come, just to make it easier. You also want to talk to me about maybe who some specialists are that I have or who we use. If I don't know them, if I don't have them, I can certainly know the people who do know them. And it's a good idea to get on those lists, see if they're still taking patients, that type of thing. And all that can be done before you get here. Now, I've kind of saved the last and the trickiest that you might not be thinking about for last. And I didn't mean to. I should have done that first maybe, because I didn't want somebody to miss out on it. But if you're still here, you're not going to miss out. Let's talk about daycare. Cost of daycare here is expensive, and I think it is everywhere, but so I'm just going to tell you what it is here, and you tell me, is it comparable to where you live? This typically surprises people. One, how long it takes to be able to get into a nursery, how early you need to plan it for early adolescent childcare. It costs about $800 to $1,000 a month on average per child for daycare. That's also, the good schools fill up really fast. So what you want to do is talk to people in your neighborhood, talk to people in Facebook groups of the community that you're joining and ask where they like. What are the best daycare centers? You also may be able to find what my children found, which is a lady who has held a daycare in her home. So she only takes 4 to 5 children per day in her home. And the kids went straight to their home. We picked them up from there. They absolutely loved it. It's something that you might want to consider. It's probably less expensive. It doesn't have as much auditing, I guess, so it's up to you. But there's lots of options that you may have in finding that daycare. What I do suggest is that you check out, when you know what neighborhood, when you know community you're going to live in, then get on the Facebook groups, get on meetup groups, and ask around for the moms. Who have you found to be best for daycare? Then when you're here, we can actually even take a look and go see the center and feel it out. But you do need to get on those waiting lists early for that and for schools, especially private schools. You cannot come here any longer and expect to get into a private school a month, 2 months before school starts. You may well be in a waiting list for a year, 2 years to get into it. We've had such an influx of people and so many looking for great private schools. and nurseries that those waiting lists fill up, and they fill up fast. The very same for country clubs. We have so many country clubs around all over Middle Tennessee area. If you're a golfer, if you want just the swim, the social, the food, that type of thing. The last couple years has been really great for those country clubs, have filled up fast, and now there are long waiting lists for each of them. Again, wherever we determine is the right place for you to live, and if golfing or the country club kind of life is what you're looking for, then I'll need to check for you the clubs that are closest by. Then you can check them out and see if it's something you want to get on their waiting lists. These are the day-to-day fun things that everybody wants once they get here, but they may not think about it when they're deciding to move here, and that's a consideration. I can help you with it. Now, there is a Smart Steps government assistance program for low-income families. You'll need to get on the list for that one too. The cost annually for child for daycare can exceed the cost of tuition for one of our public four-year universities, so it can be expensive early on. However, many people don't know about some of the things that we have for our college-bound children, and there are several college scholarships, including the Tennessee Hope Scholarship, the UT Promise undergrad program with free tuition and fees for those attending all the UT campuses, and we have free community college for those who have been Tennessee residents for at least a year before applying for that scholarship, and if they don't already have an associate's or bachelor's degree. So this actually could apply for any adult who wants to get some higher education. That community college situation came in really handy for a couple, and you want to give this some thought. Again, you have to have lived in Tennessee for a full year before applying. I had a couple who have twin daughters and then a younger son. Twin daughters who were juniors in high school, and they were considering moving to Tennessee. They were definitely going to move, but they were going to wait probably until their girls had graduated high school before they moved here. But when I mentioned to them about this program, both girls, I can't imagine putting two girls through college at the very same time, the very same year they get started. I reminded them about that if they were here for a full year before applying for college, they could get 2 years free at a community college and then maybe move on to a university if they wanted to go on further for higher learning. That spurred them on to going ahead and moving. So they got 2 children's savings of college for 2 years, so 4 years of free tuition by moving a year earlier. They also saved, because they ended up buying in Williamson County, they also saved a good 17% over that 2-year period in the rising cost of housing. So there's a lot that goes into it. We need to talk about it. Check out that link. Set up a time. Let's talk about your specific needs. Of course, that's just a few of the day-to-day costs that I could think of that I needed to update for you on moving to, relocating to, and living in Tennessee. Now, Tennessee, the rural areas are far less expensive in many cases than the urban areas, obviously, but also the employment situation is quite different when you get rural. So I've got people who want to go off the grid totally, and that's just great. We've got so many places just like that. Everyone has specific needs. Everyone has specific desires. If you're not ready to talk yet, grab my relocation guide here. Got lots more information, talks about areas, communities, so much more than I could do right here on a video. It's not too early to have the conversations, to begin setting up search, to learn the market, have a discussion, help you narrow down. Tennessee is a big state. Middle Tennessee is quite different than East Tennessee, which is quite different than West Tennessee. And every region is perfect for the right person. That's where you come in. Where do you want to go? Let's talk about it. Till next week.